What up, peeps? Welcome to a pickup video. This is, I don't know when this is going up in terms of like all the videos that I have done that are not uploaded yet, but this is the last pickup video that I am filming before doing my 2025 video game room tour. So if for some reason this pickup video is coming out before that, then obviously you know to look forward to that. And if it's coming out afterwards and you didn't see it, please go back on the channel and make sure you check that out. I've been working on this for a very, very long time. And even just over the last couple of weeks to get ready, I've been working on the game room, doing some rearranging. I have to do the pickup video now so that I can get all this stuff put away and off the table. And yeah, I'm very, very excited. I should be filming it next weekend. I was trying to do it today, but just getting to the point that I'm at right now took way too long. And then I go back to work tomorrow. So I'm filming it this coming weekend. I'm super, super excited. So let's just jump into it. First up, a couple pre-order bonuses here. We have the keychain for Mario and Luigi Brothership. And then we also have the keychain, the Master Guardian keychain for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity for the Switch. Then from Japan, I picked up the full set of Mother 2 Gashapon charms. This is Mr. Saturn in a trash can. Kind of hard to show these. So I guess I'll just grab them all. Here's the rest of them. We have Ness, Jeff, Pooh, Paula, the Starman, and I can't remember this guy's name, but it is the full set. And these are from 1994. So these are, you know, Super Nintendo, Super Famicom era. We have a ton of these for sale at the store, and we get them from Japan fairly often. Every time we place an order, I try to get some of those. And realized that I never got a set for myself for the collection, so had to add those. I also picked up 3 soundtracks, which are all really, really cool. First up, we have the Mario Galaxy original soundtrack. This is the Platinum Reward from Club Nintendo. It is a Japanese version. It has 2 discs. And then kind of to go along with that, we have the Mario Galaxy 2 soundtrack as well. Also 2 discs and a Japanese import. And then I picked up another soundtrack from Super Smash Games in Olympia, Washington. I don't get to go out and game hunt too much, and when I do, you guys obviously see it on the channel. I did film that day. I don't know if that video has gone up yet or not, but this is a Toys R Us exclusive soundtrack for Batten Kaitos. I don't know how you're supposed to say it, but this is a game that I played when I was a kid. Really, really liked it, and got the little Toys R Us exclusive soundtrack, which is pretty cool. That's a GameCube game for those that didn't know. So I have one more kind of promotional type item to show you guys, and it's probably one of the coolest things that I'll show in the entire video, but this was mailed in. Someone contacted us through email, from our store, and they were looking to sell this thing and a few other things as well, but we worked out a deal for this, and it is so cool. I love collecting this type of stuff, and I have not added one of these to my collection for quite some time. This is a Countertop standee. I love collecting promo stuff. You guys know the kiosks, the signs, all that kind of stuff. I love it, but I don't really collect a lot of full-size standees because they're just way too big. I would never be able to actually display those. And I'm thinking about it, I'm looking around. The only one I have is the Goro Mortal Kombat one, and then we have Luigi's Mansion 3, or maybe it was Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, but that's just kind of in storage. I got rid of the other ones I had, but the Countertop ones, they're much easier to work with. They're way smaller. They don't take up quite as much room, and so I love getting these ones when I can. And this one is for Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones. Really, really cool. It's in really nice condition. It's got the little 3D parts that are, popping out. It's all holographic looking. It's got the sticker on the back there with the name of the game as well. Very, very cool. Love this kind of stuff. Definitely gonna have to find a good spot for that in the game room. And then before we get into the actual games, I do have 3 handheld consoles to show you guys that we added to the collection recently. First one is the Hyrule Edition Switch Lite. And this one, we just had to wait for one to get traded in at the store, because while we can order these wholesale from one of our distributors, it is not worth doing. It literally is not worth doing it. The price, I think, I don't remember the exact retail price of this, but let's just say for this analogy that it is $200. The retail price is something like $195, and then we have to pay shipping. So it really doesn't make sense to do it like at all. I could order 1,000 of them and we would maybe make like selling all of them, you know, it's just not worth doing. So we just waited for one to get traded in at the store. So it is pre-owned, which is perfectly fine with me. The other two that I have though are Japanese import consoles, which I believe were also traded in, but they are Japanese exclusive colors and or bundles. And obviously, I really like collecting Nintendo stuff. I like to go after all the boxed handhelds. But when it comes to like the DS and 3DS stuff, Abby is the one who is like really into that. So every time we go to a convention, she's always looking for boxed 3DS consoles that we don't have. And so getting some of the Japanese ones is cool because these colors didn't come out in North America. First one is a new 2DS LL, and this is lavender and white. In Japan, they don't use XL, they use LL. I don't know exactly why, but there's that one. And then the other one is I can't remember if it's like a Gundam bundle or if it's like a Super Robot Wars. Not sure, but it is a 3DS LL that comes bundled with the game. But if this was just a bundle with the game and it was just a standard black console, we probably wouldn't add that to the collection. But this console is actually like a special edition version. It's going to be really hard to see. Maybe I can just show you real quick, but it's not just a standard black console. It actually is special to the game. So hopefully you guys can see that. It's got like a grid pattern on it and then like this little like texture of dots. It's kind of hard, and then the logo down here. Kind of hard to show it. The back you can probably see a little bit better. It's got this like mechanical or maybe like a map of a city kind of pattern on it. The inside's just black, but very, very cool stuff. Love collecting all the different, you know, special edition and color variants of handhelds. And Japan gets some really, really cool stuff that we do not get here. Whatever game this is for, like I said, I can't remember if this is Robot Wars or Gundam, but it's not popular enough in the US to have a console for it. So gotta get the Japanese ones. All right, moving on, we are finally done with all of that kind of stuff, so we just have games left. We have a couple random ones for consoles, like where I only have one or two to show, so we're gonna start with Nintendo Wii, just one single game this time, Mini Golf Resort. This is one of the very few that is Motion Plus required, which is kind of interesting. This game is a little bit uncommon. I definitely would not call it rare, but it's not what you would consider like bottom of the barrel, like cheap garbage. This is like a $15-ish game, but like I said, it is a little bit uncommon. This is the first time we've ever had it traded in at our store, so if that tells you anything, little hard to find. We also have two GameCube games here, and you guys know that I finished the North American set, so I started going after the Player's Choice games, and usually, if I'm showing you GameCube games in the pickup videos, they're gonna be Player's Choice. Neither of these are, which is kind of cool. The first one is actually just a game that is replacing a factory sealed copy, and that is Odama. So we already had the game, but we only had it sealed. Now we have an opened one and we can sell the sealed one. The other one though is a variant that we did not have in the collection yet, and that is the Kmart cover variant of Star Fox Adventures. So it's got this little thing down here that basically says if you buy the game, you get the strategy guide. So very nice little variant there for the GameCube set. And then I have one PS2 game as well. I think it's pronounced Yanya Kabbalista or Yanya City Skater. And we showed this off in a vlog, I think, but this is in a longer cardboard box than like your normal PS2 case. And it comes with a little fingerboard that you're supposed to put on the joysticks of the controller and you can use to control the character like that. I don't know why you ever would. That seems incredibly difficult, but you can see the person doing it on the back of the box there. So I thought that was kind of cool. They don't make box protectors to fit this size box, so I had to improvise and use one for something else, and then I just like taped it at the top. So hopefully it doesn't get any more crushed than it already is, because it's not in the best condition, but very, very cool. Didn't know that it existed until I saw it on another game store's website, and when I was placing an order, had to add that in. Moving on to Game Boy. We have 2 Game Boy Advance cartridges here. The first one goes into a box that we already have. So that one is Advanced Guardian Heroes. And I believe the copy that we had was also missing the manual, so we still need to track one of those down, but got the cartridge. The other cartridge here I got on my most recent little game hunting trip I did, and that is the Metroid Zero Mission Not For Resale cartridge. I also got this from Super Smash. Still got the price tag on there, 80 bucks. I feel like that's a decently fair price. I already have the Metroid Fusion Not For Resale cartridge for Game Boy Advance, so when I saw Zero Mission, had to grab it to complete that little set. I also have one loose cartridge for Game Boy that completes a box we already had, and that is for The Punisher. And then one Game Boy Advance manual that we needed, Dragon Ball Z collectible card game. And then lastly, one complete in box original Game Boy game that is in very good condition. It's got the poster, it's got the registration card, all that kind of stuff, and that is Dr. Franken. Very happy with this one. The Super Nintendo version of the game is pretty hard to find. It's not very expensive, just super uncommon. And then of course, as you guys probably know, anything original Game Boy that's complete in box is usually hard to find. And very happy with the condition on this one and everything, and it was a very good price as well. I also got that from, what was the other one I got? The City Skater PS2 game. I got that and Dr. Franken from Video Game Trader in Canada for Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas. They have like a Black Friday kind of thing in Canada. And so they always do a sale on their website, and I picked up both of those in addition to some other stuff for the store. So shout out to Retro Game Trader in Canada. Moving on, let's go with Nintendo Switch. As you guys know, I always have a ton of Nintendo Switch here. And this is probably more than average, I would say, but there's a lot to get through. So I'm gonna go with the like normal case games first, and then we have a couple like special edition ones. So first, we have 2 like download code games. We have Instant Tennis and Super Street Racer. I actually have both of these in the collection already, but mine are factory sealed, and it's kind of a really weird thing to collect, right? Because this is just an empty case. It's just a digital code, and there's no cartridge. So I was a little bit conflicted about adding these to the collection because they're opened. They are 99% sure that these codes have been used, right? But the thing is, I wouldn't use the codes anyway. I'm only adding them to the collection to have them in the collection. I'm not dying to play Instant Tennis on the Switch. So I decided that I'm okay with having them opened. I don't care if the code is used because I'm not gonna use it anyway. And then that allows us to sell the factory sealed ones at our store, and they actually do have a use if a customer were to buy them. So we don't like pay for these when we take them in. We tell people like, we can't do anything with this. They usually just don't want them. They give them to us. So figured, why not replace the sealed ones with these, because I'm not gonna use them anyway. And then we have Master Detective Archives Rain Code. We actually bought a couple really big Switch collections recently, so that's why there's so many games in here this time, because usually it's just a lot of new releases, but these ones are a little bit different. We have Golf Story. This is one of the cover variants. I have the other one. I don't know which is which. One's limited run, one's Best Buy. Have both now. Also, there was a stack of Switch games in Abby's office here at the house. It's kind of like her game room. But we realized that we had never entered these into the spreadsheet. This is one of them, Stardew Valley Collector's Edition, but this is the Japanese version. Normally, I wouldn't care to have this because we have the North American version, but Abby's a really, really big Stardew fan, and she didn't want to get rid of it, so I just added it to the spreadsheet. We're gonna put it on the shelf. We also have Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Time on Frog Island, Five Nights at Freddy's Core Collection, Siberia 1 and 2. This is a PAL import. I'm not sure if the double pack like this got released in North America. We have Ikai, Yomawari The Long Night Collection, and the last one from like her stack that was in the other room is Gree, And this is with the slipcover. Our copy was factory sealed and didn't have the slipcover, so this was a nice upgrade for us. We get to sell the sealed one, keep the open one, and the slipcover. Abby really, really likes that game, but she has it on multiple platforms, so that's why it didn't matter that we had a sealed one because she's played it. But now we have an open one. We also have Tales of Grace's F Remastered, which just came out recently. We have Horse Club Adventures. Oh my God. Can't wait to play it. Disgaea, which is this? Disgaea 7, Vows of the Virtueless. Lode Runner Legacy. We have Heaven's Machine, and this is a super rare games release, so it's a PAL import, and it's got this cool slipcover. It's all like holographic looking. We have Giga Wrecker Alt. We have Wii Heart Katamari Reroll plus Royal Reverie. This one is Akai Katana Shin. We have New Super Lucky's Tale. Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. Warhammer 40,000 Shoota's Blood and Teeth. They Always Run. Mika and the Witch's Mountain. This, I think this was one that Abby backed on Kickstarter. I can't remember. Because I'm pretty sure that one came out of her room as well. And yeah, I think this one was kind of expensive because it was maybe only available through Kickstarter. I can't remember, but something like that. We have Trails to Azure, the Deluxe Edition. And Trails from Zero, Deluxe Edition. This was a good one. This one we already had sealed and we got to swap it out, but the sealed one was worth like $40 or $50 more than the open one. So good for us, good for the store. Minecraft Story Mode Season 2. We also have the Outbound Ghost, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, Empire of Sin, Trails of Cold Steel 4 Frontline Edition. And just like that Minecraft one, a lot of these we already had. We just had them sealed, so we're swapping them for complete copies. And then 2 PAL imports here, which I don't know how many times I've already said it in this video, but I say it a lot. I'm trying to mostly just focus on North American Switch games because if I go worldwide, there's just way too many. But these ones got traded in as part of a collection. They're kind of funny, they're kind of cool, and they're PAL exclusive, so I decided to hold on to them. Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Dry Twice, and Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Don't Dry. So, which is it? Do they not dry or do they dry twice? I don't know. Next up, Assault Suits Valken Declassified. A lot of these games I'd never even seen before. Trigger Heart Excelica. This one I think was a new release. Same with Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. We have Goblin Slayer, Another Adventurer Nightmare Feast. Another new release. And this one, Elrintaros Wanderings. Then we have 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. Fairy Fencer F, Advent Dark Force. Daemon X Machina. Shin Megami Tensei 5, Steelbook Edition. Musinx, I think is how you say that one. Remy Lore, Lost Girl in the Lands of Lore. The Wonderful 101 Remastered. Disgaea 4 Complete. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. I have not played this yet, but man, I put hundreds of hours into those first 2 games on PS1 and N64 back in the day, so I'll definitely have to check that out. Cruisin' Blast. Dragon Ball Fighters, or Fighter Z. Touhou Genso Wanderer Reloaded. Curved Space. Theater Rhythm, Final Bar Line. Trials of Mana. Luigi's Mansion 3. Again, we had this game, but only sealed. Azure Lane Crosswave. This one's got really weird text on the spine compared to most other games. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? Familia Myth Infinite Combat. What a title. Bayonetta, Origins, Careza, something like that, and The Lost Demon. Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon. Pokken Tournament DX. Voez. New Super Lucky's Tale again. This one's open, the last one was sealed, so obviously keeping this one, getting rid of the other one. And then Tales of Symphonia Remastered. Where was that Super Lucky's Tale? There we are. So I must have gotten 2 of them in like one after the other and then checked my spreadsheet and I had not entered the first one yet. Otherwise I would have caught that. But this one's going back to the store. We will keep the opened copy. And then like I said, we do have a couple collector's edition, special edition type games as well. We have Death Road to Canada limited edition. We also have, I think this was the Red Strings Club. The font is kind of hard to read. I think this is one of the strictly or special reserve games. It's number 801 out of 3000. We also have the NBA 2K19 20th Anniversary Edition. And then lastly, I've learned that this is pronounced Yee's Memoir, The Oath in Felghana Refined Edition. So we got these at the store. This is such a cheap packaging job. The box is cheap, the seal is cheap, and yeah, a lot of these were printed really bad, and I took the worst one that we got from the store. You can see the Switch logo is all the way shifted over. You can see it's not really lined up. So I don't know if you would necessarily call this a factory error because most of them that we got were a little bit messed up. This one just happened to be the worst, so I took that one and left the better ones for the customers. I think we are sold out of them now though, so who knows if anyone even cares. All right, next up, we have Nintendo DS and a couple 3DS cartridges here, and then we're gonna finish off with Super Nintendo and NES, and there's some good stuff coming, so make sure you stick around. First up, Abby dropped something while we were driving in the car, and it went underneath the seat, and then when we got to wherever we were going, she had to fish it out, and she found these underneath my seat, and I'm pretty sure that I got these when I was on the road trip with Cody and we were in Ohio and we shipped them back to the store. I must have like opened them and gone through stuff at the store and then put everything into my car, and then they must have fallen out of a box or something because I didn't realize that I was missing them, but it's the Steel Diver Not for Resale cartridge and Asphalt 3D Not for Resale cartridge. And I picked these up at Vacuums and Video Games, and I picked up a ton of NFRs from them that day. So to have two go missing, I just didn't even notice, but glad that we found them. That's it for the 3DS. The rest here are original DS games, and there's a couple decent titles. Most of these are filler, and Abby has been wanting to get more DS games, so she grabbed these. I probably wouldn't have, but at least not yet, because we're not focusing on DS, but they're your games we did not have. So we have Sims 3, Monster Jam, Harvest Moon DS Sunshine Islands, Camping Mama Outdoor Adventures, which I didn't know existed until she brought this home, but I've seen Babysitting Mama and Cooking Mama, but never Camping Mama, so that's interesting. Need for Speed Nitro, Gardening Mama, I have seen this one. Lux Pain, we already have this game, but we have the like big box version, and we like to try to get both, even though it's stupid. Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, Nintendogs Dalmatian and Friends Limited Edition, Tetris DS, which I cannot believe we didn't have. It's got a little jumping Mario right there. Diner Dash Sizzle and Serve, Star Wars The Force Unleashed, Spore Hero Arena, and lastly, Namco Museum DS. All right, moving on. We're actually going to end this video today with the NES games, even though I think that the Super Nintendo games we have to show are cooler overall, but there's just one NES game that's kind of special. So for Super Nintendo, I just finished filming another SNES Quest video yesterday, and it took all day. Took all day. So this is all coming from that. Hopefully that goes up before this pickup video. But in the process of doing that, I was going through a bunch of stuff, comparing conditions, and I found a variant that I did not know existed. I don't know if anyone necessarily cares, but this is the game that I had on the shelf. Jeopardy Deluxe Edition, whatever. I'm going through comparing condition, and I pull out this Jeopardy Deluxe Edition so that I can see which one is better. And you guys might notice couple differences here. So first up, colors are different. Look at the logo. This one's more of like a blue and yellow like chrome. This one's more of like a purpley color. Also, this one has the all new 1994 edition emblem, which this one does not. The Game Tech logo is also different. This one's like the 3D effect logo. This one's standard. So decided to hold on to both. Normally, when it comes to box variants and stuff like that, it has to be what I consider in my mind a major variant. There are a lot of NES games where there's an oval seal, like the Nintendo quality seal. There's oval versus circular. I don't really care about that. That's not major enough of a variant for me to want to keep both. So something like this, where it's got like an extra thing printed on it, the colors are different, that's enough for me to want to keep both. And we'll come back to that when we get to the NES games, because there are 3 other variants I found that are not just seal variants. So continuing on with the Super Nintendo games here, I'm gonna try to go in order of what I think is least cool to most cool. First one, Radical Psycho Machine Racing. Pretty much all of the games here are fairly uncommon, because at this point we're getting so close to finishing the library and trying to find as much stuff kind of in person as I can. It's become insanely difficult. So almost every game I still need, even if they're not expensive, they're just really uncommon. So next one, we have Magic Boy. And I actually popped this in and played it. This is a pretty fun game. It's very simple, and I only played the first level, but I did enjoy it, and I plan on going back and playing some more of this. It looks like there was 8 levels maybe in the game, and the first one was pretty quick and easy, so maybe it's one of the games where the first level is kind of like the tutorial level and all the other ones are way, way longer, but seemed pretty fun and not too difficult, so maybe I'll go back and try to beat that one. Next one we have is the Incredible Crash Dummies. Now, I do still need manuals for a couple of these games. Magic Boy is 100% complete with everything, lots of extra stuff in there. But Incredible Crash Dummies, I do still need an instruction manual for. Next one is Mario's Early Years Preschool Fun. Now, I was a little confused about this one, and I don't think that I double checked. Let me see. Mario, I'm looking at the, okay. I'm looking at the wall over here. I do not have this one. It was on my list of games that I needed, but it was also in the spreadsheet of games that I have. It is not physically on the wall over there. We have Fun with Letters, so I don't know what was happening. I should have checked before filming just to be sure, but either way, did not have this game. That was the last Mario game that we needed, which is really, really awesome. We also picked up Ultima, the Black Gate, the last Ultima game that we needed, and another one that does not have an instruction manual. So if you have a manual for this, please let me know. Looks like they do not sell very often on eBay. Same with Crash Dummies. I think there's like 2 that have ever sold for a loose manual. Might be kind of hard to find that one. Last 2 games here, I played both of these, and neither of them were very good. The first one is Whiz, fairly uncommon title, pretty hard to find. This game is not very good, unfortunately. Couldn't even get through the first level because the controls are so weird. It's an isometric view, and so that's kind of like, almost like top down, but like when you push up on the D-pad, you're going this way. And so when you push right, you're going down this way, and it's so hard to try to like learn the controls for something like that. Have to get used to it and play for a lot. It's just not fun enough to want to play it enough to get used to the controls. And the last one here, unfortunately, I thought was gonna be really, really good, but it's also just kind of mediocre, and that is Radical Rex. I love the idea of this. The screenshots on the back make it look so freaking cool. It is probably most similar to something like Sonic the Hedgehog, where you are a dinosaur, you can run along the levels, a side-scrolling platformer, but you can also find a skateboard and jump on that and then like cruise through the levels and like speed through. The only problem is with Sonic the Hedgehog, when you start going really, really fast, you're like taking jumps and going through loops and doing all this cool stuff. But it seems like with Radical Rex, as soon as you start to get going fast, you hit a pitfall or you hit an enemy or something like that. So you don't really get the satisfaction of the speed of the game because it just ends so quickly every time, and kind of annoying, kind of disappointing, but lots of new Super Nintendo games being added to the collection, and I'm super, super happy about that. I'm not going to spoil how many we have left because I want you guys to watch the SNES Quest series of videos that's going up, and you can hear about it there. All right, moving on to the last portion of stuff for today's pickup video, and that is NES games. So we had a really large collection of boxed NES and Super Nintendo games that we purchased from someone through email, or I think it was through Facebook actually, and they shipped it into the store. That is where most of these Super Nintendo games came from, and that's where that's where 99% of these NES games came from. So first up, one instruction manual that we needed, and that is for Genghis Khan. I also found this on my little trip at Super Smash Games in Olympia, so shout out to them. And then, aside from the very last game that I'm going to talk about, none of these are in any particular order. These are games that we did not already have in the collection. So first up, Gauntlet 2. And then Cyber Stadium Series Base Wars. We have Wheel of Fortune Family Edition. And also just standard Wheel of Fortune, and also Wheel of Fortune Junior Edition. The only Wheel of Fortune that we had is the one that comes in a white box, and it's just called Wheel of Fortune, but then the tagline says featuring Vanna White. So I don't know if that's part of the title, but they are different games, and now we have all 4 of the Wheel of Fortune games. We also have Casino Kid and The Chess Master, Dance Aerobics. And then this is an unlicensed title here. It's Impossible Mission 2. This is the American Video Entertainment version. And I wanted to show you because I feel like I've seen it, but I didn't know. Where is it? Impossible Mission 2. So this is the one that I had in the collection, and this is the version that we are adding now. Based on the screenshots on the back, it looks like the same game, at least like same colors and everything, but two different boxes here and then 2 different companies. So if you guys know what's up with this, let me know. This one you can find sealed everywhere. It's very, very common. This one I feel like is way more uncommon, but I don't know too much about them. It's just, I was going through and I was gonna compare condition on these and I was like, wait a minute, that's not even close to the same game. So interesting. Next up we have Road Blasters. We have Robo Warrior. We have Super Jeopardy. We also have Super Team Games. Thunderbirds. Ultimate Basketball. And Winter Games. So one of my goals for 2025 is to beat more video games. And I feel like I play a decent number of like newer games throughout the year, like Nintendo Switch games and stuff like that. And I end up beating a handful of them, but not most of them. Most of them that I play, I do not beat, right? And I kind of have that issue where I get into a game and I'll get pretty far, but then I just kind of get busy with something else, and then another game comes out and I move on to that, and I never beat it. So one of my goals for this year is to beat more games and also to play more of my retro stuff. So I still have more games to show you, so don't worry. But so far this year, it is what, like January 20 something right now, filming this. I've beaten 3 games already this year, which is a lot more than average for me. I'm a very busy person running the store and all that, making videos every weekend. So I don't have as much time to play games as I would like, but I'm trying to do more. So this year, so far, I've already beaten 3 games, 1 Switch game, 2 NES games, which is pretty cool. I beat Little Mermaid for NES, which was kind of fun. The other game, which is the last one I have to show you, is the first game of the year that I beat. Super, super good. And then on Switch, Bobby came over, we beat the Rugrats Adventures in Gameland, which is also very, very good. You should definitely check that game out. But before we get to the final game, I do have the other 3 box variants that I wanted to show you. So the first one is Dragon Warrior. Now, just looking at them, you can probably see the difference. This one is the hang tab style box, and it obviously had a sticker seal on the top there. This one was the, I guess, the later print version that did not have the hang tab. And like I said earlier, I don't care if it's just like a circular seal versus an oval seal. This is a little bit different. This one here, which is the one I already had in the collection, has the one oval seal, and that's it. Nothing right here, nothing right here. But this is the new one that I got. It has the oval seal, it's a little bit smaller, but it has a second seal above that, and then the Mattel logo right there. So that is a big enough variant for me to want to keep, but this is cutting it close, right? If it was anything less than, you know, an additional, like the Mattel logo, that's kind of what did it for me. If it was just the 2 different seals, I maybe would have not kept it. The other ones here are bigger variants though. Next one is for the black bass, and this is the one that I had in the collection. And this is the new one. Do you guys see the difference? Probably not, because it's not on the front. This is the one that was on the shelf. This is not ripped. This is printed with this same kind of purpley color on the top, but no text, no logos. And this is the other one that I was comparing condition to and realized, hey, that's different. And that's a pretty big difference. So I don't know what the deal is with this. I don't know which one came first. Everything else about the box, as far as I can tell, is exactly the same. It's just the top. And that's a pretty big difference, especially because I have them on the shelf like this, so I'll be able to see it. The last one though, probably the I don't know, maybe the coolest variant, but this is the one that I originally had, Bill Elliott's NASCAR Challenge. This happens to just be a factory sealed copy. I have not found a complete one to replace it yet, but eventually this will be for sale. But let's compare condition, and look at that. We have a huge, I thought it was maybe it was a sticker at first, but it's actually printed on the box. It says, win a trip to the Daytona 500, meet Bill Elliott and win a 1992 Ford Thunderbird. Fly Midway Airlines to Florida. Contest details inside. That is awesome. But yeah, that's the only difference about the box as far as I could tell, but that's a pretty big difference, and I think that is pretty cool. So those are the variants that I added. And then now let's move on to the final game. And this one's a little bit weird. I made a video about this as well. I don't think that one has come out at the time of me filming this either. I'm only a few videos ahead. It's not like I have 20 videos ready to go. It's just, they're all related. But this one though, I already had the box and manual, and I picked up the cartridge on my road trip with Cody, and I didn't realize that I needed that cartridge to complete this version. I just bought the cartridge for the store, thinking, this is a cool game for us to have at our grand opening. And then I was in the game room looking at the NES games back here, and I saw the box, and it clicked in my head. I was like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure that I don't have the cartridge in there. Checked it, didn't have it, and I was like, man, I just bought that game on the road trip. So I went into our storage and dug through the NES games we have that are on hold and pulled out the game, and I actually played it and beat it. And it's really, really fun. It's not incredibly long, but it can be pretty difficult because it's it's an NES game. You only have a couple hits before you die. You only have a few deaths before you get a game over, and you have to start over from the very beginning. But very, very fun game, and that cartridge that I needed was Panic Restaurant. So now I can use this mint condition cartridge to complete my version, which is in the acrylic case here. My box here is not in the best condition. It's not bad by any means, but it's not perfect. And then inside here, we of course have the instruction manual as well. It is in a little protective baggie. The instruction manual has tape on the spine. It's kind of hard to see since it's in that bag, but this game is now complete, and I beat it, which is really, really awesome. This was the first game of the year that I beat, like I said, and I've been trying to do more. This is the first time I've actually had the cartridge in the box here. So now that is a complete copy of Panic Restaurant. And if you guys are hardcore collectors, if you know about NES stuff, this is like in the top, in terms of CIB games, this is probably in the top 5 most expensive NES games out there. It was a later release by Taito. They also did Little Samson and Flintstones Surprise at Dinosaur Peak. A lot of those later release Taito games are very, very expensive and hard to find, and this is just one of them. But this game is really, really fun. It's definitely not worth paying whatever this goes for. This is like a couple $1,000s complete, and that's crazy. And I got very lucky and got the box and manual many years ago for a much better price, and then obviously got a decent deal on the cartridge more recently. But emulate this game and play it because it is a ton of fun, but unless you're a hardcore collector, I wouldn't buy the physical version. It's just too expensive. But that is it for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Keyword for this one is going to be Crash from Crash Dummy. So if you use the word Crash in your comment down below, that'll tell me that you watched the entire video, and if you did, I want to say thank you. And thank you for letting me share my collection with you guys, because if it wasn't for having friends that collect and being able to make videos about my collection and share my passion with other like-minded people, I am not sure that I would collect as heavily as I do. I obviously collect, you know, because I enjoy it, but part of what I enjoy about it is sharing my collection with others and participating in this hobby with friends and other like-minded people. So thank you guys for allowing me the chance to do that and showing at least enough interest to watch a grown man talk about retro video games for 40 minutes on YouTube. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.